Hi, this is Andrea Gin, and I'm the producer and one of the hosts of Pop This. I'm just here to let you know that we're taking a break this week, and in lieu of a new episode, have gone into the archives and pulled up an old favorite for you to hear. Today, we are revisiting our 2021 episode on the wedding jukebox musical rom-com, Mamma Mia. We just talked about the adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, a couple of weeks ago, and so we just decided to stay in the groove of musicals that rely heavily on the appeal of ABBA hit songs. Along with great music, the film features a spectacular ensemble cast, including Christine Baranski, Pierce Brosnan, Colin Firth, Amanda Seyfried, and, of course, Meryl Streep. It's also set against the beautiful backdrop of a Greek island. There's a goat house, there's a bachelorette party, and yet, despite all of this, not all of us love this movie. In fact, some of us, not at all. But you know what? It's always a little more fun to disagree. This film is available to watch on streaming because, of course it is, it's wedding season. Hope you all enjoy the episode, and as always, thanks for listening.
You are listening to Pop This, the podcast where three women talk about pop culture. Here are your hosts, Lisa Christiansen, Andrea Gin, and Andrea Warner.
Okay, so I have lost a few things in my house recently. And I don't know where I don't have a huge house. But I have a lot of places I guess I can lose things. But here's my question to both of you. It's just such a philosophical question. I'm, for the first time, really thinking of it that way. Anyway, when do you give up and just go replace the thing that you can't find? So what it is I can't find is I have a pair of Birkenstocks. Well, I had a pair. I have one of them right now.
You only have one shoe?
What?
I don't know where the other one went.
Really?
I don't know. I've looked around.
Do you wear them often, or was
I
it
did
something...
in the summer, last summer. I didn't wear them over the winter.
So it was something where they were put away for the winter.
No,
and when
one of them was, I guess. I don't know where it went.
Do you ever leave it like outside on your back porch?
No.
Or like
No.
they always come in the house?
Are,
Well, one of them has been right in my room with my other shoes, but by itself for a very long time. And I don't know what happened to the other one.
Did it have anything to do with when you broke your heel and were only wearing one shoe?
Oh, it could. Yes, that's possible. So what? So like I got so angry, I just decided to throw.
Or maybe you left it. I don't know. You were wearing one shoe and then somehow.
Well, which one are you missing?
I am
right
missing the broken foot one. Yeah, I broke my right foot, and that's the one that's missing. So you're right. Perhaps I was using the left one for you're okay. I see where this is going now. This is good. Okay.
No, what about if you like left that shoe at the hospital?
I was barefoot at the hospital. Sadly.
Oh, okay.
When I went.
I'm so sorry.
Let's just talk about that bleak night again. No,
it's not. I just was wondering whether or not perhaps it was sacrificed to the hospital gods.
No, but now I'm thinking you're right. So maybe I fished out one, but it was last summer. So they must have been around. Yeah, I'd been wearing them. So somehow, you're right. Somehow I was only using the left one because my foot was on that funny little cart thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't need a shoe on that. So, okay. All right.
Well, and a sandal would likely fall off while you're on the cart. So,
yeah. So, okay. I will take another look because that makes sense. There was some kind of situation.
Do your dogs go after your shoes ever or no?
No, that's not their kind of thing. And then I have this weed whacker with a little tiny recharger for the battery. And I don't know where it is in my whole house. And I don't know now, do I just go and replace it? Like how long, here's what I'm asking you. How long will you keep looking for something before you just go and replace it?
It depends on the item, but like whatever you're replacing, usually if it's not super expensive or it's not really hard to like reasonably, you can always use 2 of something, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would replace the battery thing right away.
Yeah.
Because I need to get that thing
because you
going.
need to use it, right?
Yeah, I need to get. I know, but I'm looking. The shoes.
The shoe feels like a solvable problem.
I really don't want to have to buy another pair of Birkenstocks this year.
Yeah.
They're expensive,
the
and I usually get a
the
good
shoe
2 or
is
3 years
somewhere.
out of them.
Yeah,
the shoe is somewhere. Yes.
Yeah, the shoe for sure is somewhere. Unless you've got like a weird stalker. At which point, if you're listening, weird stalker, can you please return Lisa's shoe?
Yeah. Yeah, because I only got a year. Actually, I only got a few months out of them because obviously then I stopped being able to wear them.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Yeah.
With the whole broken foot situation.
Yeah.
As I like to keep calling it now, apparently.
I tend to put a lot of stuff away, like to keep it safe and then forget where it's safe. That's a real problem for me. So I own doubles of like several things probably that aren't really necessary to own doubles of, but I'd rather just know that I have a backup, you know? Like it's just good to have a backup sometimes.
I like to buy 2 of everything, and I don't know if I've been doing that since the pandemic, but it sounds like you've been doing that from before.
I do buy 2 of like quite a few things if I really like them and if I can, like if it's not like outlandish expensive, you know. But I don't have a lot of outlandish expensive taste, so. But like
I always buy 3 Hermes watches at the same time, just in case one goes missing. And I kicked myself that I only bought 1 saddle, Hermes saddle that time.
That is a problem. I mean,
You know.
because honestly, the horses, they know when it's Hermes.
They do.
Like,
They do. And
they
so
just
then
do.
a friend was over and I lent her my Hermes saddle. What am I going to use?
It's funny you should bring this up because just before we started this podcast, we had a household mystery where I was eating a peanut butter egg, like a Purdy's peanut butter egg, and I'm
because
pretty
they're
sure
delicious.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I ate most of it, and there's like a bit left, and I was like walking around the house and doing stuff, and then like all of a sudden it was gone, and my husband and my dog maintain that I must have eaten it and forgotten about it.
And you're sure you did not.
And I'm sure I did not.
So sorry,
I think Frankie, my dog, must have eaten it.
But that's not good for him.
I know, but it wasn't like a lot. It was just like a small.
I'm sorry.
chunk.
How did Franklin maintain his innocence and your culpability? I want to hear more about this dog court that you assembled.
He just looked at me with puppy dog eyes, and
he's a dog. He has to.
Yeah.
Those are the eyes that he's got in his face.
Yeah.
If he looked at you with Joe's eyes, that's a problem.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
No, I was like, I think Franklin must have eaten it, and they were both like, no.
Meanwhile, they're like Franklin's going.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Joe's quietly high-fiving him.
No, I mean, like we did smell Franklin's breath, and there was no peanut butter. But I don't know.
That happened to me with getting a new dog. Well, this is a very long time ago when I got Cash, and I just didn't know about the chocolate thing, and I hid some, I just bought some Reese peanut butter cup egg things covered in foil, and I put them in my cupboard. And Cash went in, opened the bag, got it all out. By the time I came in my room, there were like 10 or 15 foils.
Oh, no.
I'm not even kidding you. On his little bed.
Oh, no.
So I had to take him up to the vets, and they had to get all of his stomach pumped out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, this is the best part of this story. I went out, and I brought home a chocolate bar in my purse, put my purse on the bed. Cash went in and ate it. And 4 days later, I was back at the vets.
Oh.
And they looked at me and they were like, were you just here with your dog eating chocolate? And I'm like, I've never done this before, ever. And they're like, twice in 1 week. And I'm, so the only good ending of this story is that they felt so sorry for me. They only charged me half of the exorbitant rate the second time.
Wow.
Oh, that's nice.
That is nice.
So the moral of the story is watch your chocolate. I'm not like, I agree. I think Franklin's up to something, but that's my thought.
Yeah. I feel like I would have had more of a satisfied feeling if I had finished the egg.
You would know it's the last, because you look at it like with a, like a longing.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
And I never got that feeling.
I agree. I mean, but I also, can you imagine if you're just sort of like phantom eating peanut butter? You're just like,
I know. The alternative is that like I'm just not remembering like what I'm eating anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I
haven't heard that pandemic problem, but I mean,
I love
why
that
not?
for you. Like I just you're just like peanut butter egg in one hand, pickled egg in the other, and then 2 martinis, and you're just like,
just like, I don't even know. People are finding empty glassware around the house. You're like, I don't know if that's mine. Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Could be Franklin's. I don't know.
He loves to mix his own cocktails. You can see it. He's just got a real jaunty flair about him.
He does. And the way he's always so insistent on that rind from the lemon, it's so beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's no clean pivot, so I'm just going to do it. Because you know what? This is not a movie about subtlety.
Or story.
You know what? It's fine. It's fine.
Or even good singing.
What? A beginning to
music month.
To
2 months.
2 months. 2 months of musicals kicks off right now. I'm Andrea Warner.
I'm Lisa Christiansen.
I'm Andrea Gin.
And you're listening to Pop This. And yes, you've heard that right. 2 months of musicals. Is this the point at which you're going to pause and say, I'll see you in 8 weeks? Maybe. But I hope not, because you know what? This is going to be fun. So yes, 2 months of musicals starts now. We're kicking things off with Mamma Mia.
Wow.
Yay.
Yeah.
You can always tell by the deafening pause after I've said the title of something how maybe you both feel about it.
I think that's fair. And now there is a tie-in, though, because of Mother's Day.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
yes.
is that why we're... Okay.
That's why we kicked it off.
The tie-in
like,
isn't because it's the best musical of all time to kick this off with. No.
No, it's Mother's Day soon, and Mamma Mia, certainly the one thing it is for sure is a celebration of motherhood.
Or, you mean, you could also pick this for Father's Day, because it would definitely...
Yes.
It definitely has a Father's Day thing to it. Yeah, no, I don't care for this musical.
Oh boy! So I didn't know which way it would go. I didn't know which way it would go. I briefly had to chat with AG earlier today, and I said I don't know where Lisa's gonna fall on this, because I knew AG hated it. And I was like, I don't know where Lisa's gonna fall on this. I didn't get any text or DM from her while watching it to say anything, and I was like,
that's a sign.
That's a huge sign. So it's going to be me being like, I freaking love this movie. I did not know that I would feel this way.
You had not seen it?
So I saw the movie back in 2008 when it came out. I love ABBA, but I did not care for it. Then I had to see a stage production of it a number of years ago, and I also did not care for it. Then I saw the Theater Under the Stars production of it 2 summers ago and was blown away. I was like, I love this. What they did with the musical at the Theater Under the Stars, I was just like, they did everything right with it, and it gave me everything I wanted. And then I rewatched this last week, and I was like, Why was I denying myself the joy of this film? Why not just go with it? It's unhinged, it's ridiculous, and it is fun as heck. And now I love it.
Wow.
Oh, that's quite a journey.
I guess I'm happy for you that you found a thing that you like.
I found a thing that is actually going to become a thing because now that I wrote this outline for our episode, I'm obsessed with the research and the writing and the divisiveness about Mamma Mia. This is a wild, wild piece of art in our pop culture landscape. And I can't wait to talk about it with you guys.
Is it though?
True. It is. It is. I swear to you. I swear, especially the reactions around it.
That's fair. I mean, there's lots of reasons why I can see wanting to like it, I would say. Because who doesn't like ABBA?
Yeah.
For one thing. For such a peculiar, unhinged, storyless movie.
Yeah.
This has the most stellar cast that
So
I can,
good.
like, it's ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense. I guess it's like when we were doing those Gary Marshall ensemble movies, you'd always be like, what is Julia Roberts doing in this movie, you know? But anyway, all of that's there. It's just that, I don't know, it was just kind of like being force-fed icing for 2 hours is what it kind of felt like. And I think a large part of, I'll admit, I like ABBA songs, but I think the reason I like ABBA songs is because ABBA sings them. I mean, there's nothing wrong. They're good songs. But when I hear someone else do them, I go, oh, well, it really was the harmonies between our ABBA singers, Annie Fried and Agnetha. That really make these songs, and then just the whole pop production of them, which is why you don't notice sometimes how dark the lyrics are and how depressing the actual song is because of the way it's done. So yeah, the movie was weird, and plus I didn't enjoy any of those people singing these songs. So that's where I'll fall.
I mean, I would say that I think that, like the person, like whoever came up with the original concept of applying ABBA songs to a jukebox musical, like that's a good idea because everybody knows ABBA, everybody can sing those songs, like everybody's familiar with this music. So like that's the one thing I would say about this movie is that like I think it was probably a stroke of genius, and whoever thought of that is like, kind of hopefully enjoying their well-deserved success because
Well, let's find out a little more about those geniuses because so I'll read the background here. Mamma Mia is originally a jukebox musical written by British playwright Catherine Johnson based on the songs of ABBA. The Mamma Mia movie in 2008 is a romantic comedy containing music directed by Phillida Lloyd and written by Catherine Johnson based on her book in the 1999 theater show of the same name. The film is based on the songs of ABBA, and the plot follows a young bride-to-be who invites 3 men to her upcoming wedding, each one with the possibility of being her father. The film was popular with audiences, not as much with critics, and grossed $60 million worldwide on a $52 million budget. So it made money. It became the 5th highest grossing film of 2008. The sequel, Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, came out July 20th, 2018. Most of the main cast came back, and they've announced a third Mamma Mia is happening soonish.
Oh, that's great.
Did you see the second one?
I did.
No, I did not.
I did.
Me neither.
I'm so excited to see the second one.
Oh, good. Well, that.
But what possibly happens in it?
Well, the worst part of it is, I'll tell you, it's like it's Donna's backstory is what it is, how she met all of those men. But here's the thing: it's all those B-list songs of ABBA, right? They already used all the good ones,
Yeah.
for the first movie. So I don't know what's happening in the third. If they're just going to recycle some of the songs,
Yeah, can you
or
imagine
what?
the third is like what songs are left?
There were barely any
ABBA was short-lived. Like, it's not.
No, maybe they'll do the Chess the musical or something like that. I don't know. Like, but yeah. So the second one was not particularly good. I'm sorry.
Would anybody like to read the synopsis, or are you guys both like, no, we won't read anything about this film?
I will read the synopsis then. Donna, played by Meryl Streep, is an independent hotelier in the Greek islands and is preparing for her daughter's wedding with the help of 2 old friends. Meanwhile, Sophie, the spirited bride, has a plan. She secretly invites 3 men from her mother's past in hope of meeting her real father and having him escort her down the aisle on her big day. That's a little bit she doesn't just invite 3 men. She invites the 3 men she thinks are her father.
Yeah. The 3 men she found out about in her reading her mother's private diaries.
Which I guess we're all okay with.
When she was that age. ...
Dot.
What age was that, you ask? Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's kind of extreme, like, versus just sitting your mom down and having a real conversation to try to get that information.
You can't have real conversations if you want to have like a sort of like farcical kind of setup for a ridiculous musical. It's predicated on like secret silences. I mean, they even try to keep the men hidden by putting him in a goat closet, but even though Donna immediately finds them, like, it's just ridiculous.
You know, and here's the other thing too, and it's overalls. You know, like,
I love those overalls so much.
When you put women in overalls, it's this, she's madcap, she's unconventional. Yes. She probably slept with hundreds of men. There's something about putting women in overalls that says that, and it is very peculiar. And man, I did not enjoy the overalls, and I feel like half the film she was in those overalls.
I know, I loved them. I was actually really honestly looking at those overalls being like, this is it. This is the summer I'm getting a pair of overalls. Like, it's not necessarily because I want to sleep with hundreds of men, necessarily. But I just, I just really want to slip into that. I want to convey the like fresh, free-spirited type of grown woman who does splits in the air and bounces on a bed with her 2 best friends. That's what I want.
See, I want to imagine my Mamma Mia story on an austere island in the Shetlands where I wear large, Irish knit sweaters.
Uh-huh.
And
galoshes.
And big wellies, boots.
Wellies, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I, walk through, like, across the wind-swept and hills with a troubled look on my face.
So no dancing, no splits, and certainly you're not going to ride one of those sheep. You're just going to walk quietly next to one.
I'll walk quietly. I'll give it a touch just to make sure that the growth of the
So you 2 aren't retiring together, is what I'm hearing.
I mean, this is not to say that this is the full life that I plan to live. I don't want to necessarily live on a beautiful Greek island. I don't think I'd be that keen on the sun, frankly. But I do want some overalls. So I
I don't think you have to like go to the Greek Isles in overalls, though. I've seen women wear them everywhere, really.
There's different outfits for the Greek Isles.
I think you could be fine in like Berkeley in those overalls.
Yeah. So I had seen the movie and I hated it in 2008. AG, had you ever seen it before?
Why did you hate it in 2008?
I'll come back to it, but had you ever seen it before?
Yeah, I had seen it. I don't remember when, and I remember hating it. And then you put it on the agenda for Pop This. And I saw it again, and I hated it. So
look, I ran all those movies by you guys, and I said, "Hey, how do y'all feel about these movies?"
There's, a good hate watch kind of keeps the juices flowing too.
Yeah, it keeps you percolating. Yeah, no, I hated it in 2008 because, again, like I was kind of like, as I've talked about lots, like my feminism has been evolving like a long time, and at that time, the sort of like feminist that I felt like at that time just saw Mamma Mia as something that was, I felt like it had like, a decent message of like no slut shaming and stuff, but I hated that it was this movie that pretended to be about women, but was all about like who the father is and like whether that has sort of like, and getting married, and like Donna's been sort of happy on her own, but she also secretly hasn't been. And it's no matter which way you cut it, this is a film about, women needing men. And I had a real problem with that message back then. And I do have a problem still with that kind of messaging. But I think what I've chosen this time in my viewing of it is not to concentrate on whether women need men or not. It's that, these characters deserve to be loved in whatever way that they decide love is for them. So I don't want to like deny that for anyone. Plus it's just like so ridiculous and over the top, and the dancing is nonstop, and everyone looks like they're having the best time. Like there's no joyless performance. Yeah. Like all the performances really do radiate joy. And I was just like I think I had really closed myself off to sort of like just ridiculousness. Like this is based in something that was made in 1999. It's not going to have necessarily inherently interesting politics. A lot of musicals don't have great politics at their core. It's silly. And at the very least, it really, does sort of default to being this story about a mother and a daughter finding their way back to each other, even though they both want different things.
I also think it's fair to add that I hear everything you're saying, but that at that moment at the wedding, when Meryl Streep was offered a chance to get married, it wasn't to any mug. We're talking like pretty peak Pierce Brosnan here.
Pierce Brosnan.
James Bond. It wasn't like some sap who turned up at the wedding and she's like, whoa, you have not aged well. Like these 20 years have really, really not been great for you.
Yeah.
I feel like okay, do you want me to tell you what Mamma Mia is about?
Yeah, please.
Woo, what have we been talking about?
I don't think the synopsis is quite accurate.
Yes.
I think it's about an American woman who, for some reason, owns a hotel on a Greek island and is sick and tired of maintaining it because it's hard. And faced with her daughter leaving, is forced to marry a virtual stranger in order to maintain the property.
Wow.
The end.
Okay, now that sounds like we're talking about Tess of the D'Urbervilles or something.
Oh my God. It had been their dream. He was the architect who drew up the plans for the hotel. She was living their dream.
They hadn't had contact in 20 years.
She was so miserable because she'd been living half a dream. I know. It makes me sick if I thought that
the hotel looks a lot older than 20 years. Or is that all a new stonework?
Plus, the hotel was inherited from the other dude's grandmother. Like
money.
It was
the money was.
No, like I thought, like
I thought she said she bought it with the money from the aunt that died or whatever.
But I think it was like his space, and they like remodeled the hotel with the money and stuff. Like I don't know, maybe I'm totally wrong, but like I thought that, but like it's a.
That's as good a synopsis as anything because there's nothing go like. Honestly, at that wedding where. You know what? I don't actually want to marry you. Oh, I love you. That's so great. Okay, what? Yeah. And then, but I'll marry you. I brought a ring. Why did he? Sorry, I was searching in my heart and mind for words that there weren't any for.
Well, yeah. So, there are some short changes in dialogue and story that songs are supposed to fill in, but. They don't, because actually
you can't fill in a dramatic scene with Chiquitita, okay? Whatever you want to do in a story plot, and you're looking at Chiquitita, and you've got to fill that in. Okay.
Honestly, I was pretty impressed what they did with Chiquitita. Like, that's like not, yeah, like, come on. But okay, so here's the other thing. How many jukebox musicals have you guys seen?
I don't know.
Name a couple.
Yeah.
Like Rock of Ages.
Yes.
No.
Rock of Ages is so terrible. It's one of the, like, the music.
Okay. It's got like, hair metal people in it. So let's just,
I love
yeah.
the songs. I love the songs, but Rock of Ages is
the
genuinely...
movie version is supposed to be quite bad, but apparently people really like the stage musical, right? Isn't what I've heard?
I've also watched that.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Several times, yeah.
Okay. Why?
I'm a theater critic,
Okay.
where I was for a long time, and I
Okay.
had to go watch it. The Four Seasons, like, jukebox musical.
Is that like the Frankie Valli one? The Jersey Boys, you mean?
The Jersey Boys.
Yeah.
There's several others that I've seen over the years, and even though the story is so ridiculous here, I actually think it's like much more successful than most jukebox musicals.
Is the Jagged Little Pill considered one?
Jagged Little Pill, I think, is absolutely a jukebox musical, but like it's a bit different because normally a jukebox musical might be like all the same songs of one person or the same songs of an era or whatever, and this took an album and like crafted like it's kind of more like a concept musical, I think, in my brain, than a jukebox musical. But Jagged Little Pill is, I mean, obviously much better than Mamma Mia, but it also overstuffs and overcomplicates and like gets really caught in the weeds. So this movie, even though it's ridiculous, it's never that confusing because it's not that smart.
Okay.
I guess
I'll give it that.
I'll give it that, but I think most of the time I just spent being perplexed and I didn't understand people's giant emotive faces, like when the women are all doing their Dawn on the Dominoes Super Trooper, and they kept doing the reaction shots to the girls apparently at the hen party watching. They just look like they're watching something different than me.
I mean, I guess it's predicated on their affection for Donna and their affection for like this like old life that she used to have as part of Donna and the Dynamos.
Okay.
See, I bought into it. I was just like, yeah, like these, like, they're very excited and they are drinking and they are having a great time.
And then they run down the hall and tie up men. Okay.
Yeah, this also made sense to me. No, those men crashed the party. They deserve to be tied up.
Okay, this is one thing that I noticed.
Voulez-vous?
In this viewing of the movie, which hopefully is my last. But like these folks have lived and worked on this Greek island for at least 20 years. And all of the characters in this movie, like there's like the daughter, her two friends, her fiance, the mother, her two friends, and the three dads. Like none of them are Greek. Like they have no Greek friends. They don't know any locals. All the Greek people that appear in this movie,
the locals are there pushing down like buttons on cassette tapes and
all the
whatever.
locals are nameless, faceless chorus.
Yes.
That just show up as workers.
Like a Greek chorus right there. You just
and everybody,
Yeah.
everybody, like all the main characters are British or American tourists, or except for the mother and the daughter. And like to me, I was just feeling really sympathetic towards these Greek people who are and just like, I'm sorry that you have to work on this island where people come to weddings probably like 50 weeks out of your 52-week year, and you have to listen to them scream singing ABBA songs all weekend long, like it's funny and original.
Do you think this is a perpetual hell that these people like are the stars of this movie, the Greek citizens who are doing the upkeep of this hotel, having to host these maniacs?
This exact scene every weekend.
Every
of their
weekend
lives.
They do large choreographed dances on the wharf
Yes.
to ABBA songs.
Yes.
This is
Yeah,
And they have to get in the water sometimes. I mean, it's a whole thing.
A different boatload of destination wedding tourists comes every weekend and reenacts the same ABBA musical.
And it's like,
that is my theory.
And it's a 50-50 whether or not the wedding will actually happen.
Yeah.
Because there might be some sort of epiphany at the altar where everyone just goes, why are we doing this? You know what? That is an interesting thing. I'm having a side thought here now. Like, I think sometimes the reason people want to have a wedding is because they want to be the center of attention and they want to have a big party. And that's why most of us are out there trying to get invited to weddings. I love weddings. Anyone out there want to invite me to their wedding? I'm there, right? And so, but then all of a sudden they're like, you know, they get married and it doesn't work out. And maybe it was just because what they really wanted was just a really big party with people looking at them.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah.
So many divorces could be avoided if people were just allowed to throw themselves epic bashes.
Right? Right? And you know you can tell that because they do these stupid things called vow renewals. Now, I'll tell you, because you can tell that that all that is just look at me and give me presents and let's have a party again. But I'll tell you, one thing you learn about watching The Housewives is that vow renewal, divorce.
I agree. I think I completely agree that a vow renewal means divorce.
Yeah.
Like if you go to a vow renewal within 6 months to 6 years, you are seeing a divorce for those people.
Yeah, they were forcing something on you and it was that party.
Sure.
So I think if we can help anyone right now, because I guess technical wedding season will be in June, even though people can't really gather still. Maybe there is a way that we could all learn how to just throw a big party, not a birthday, because, you know, you're two people together, but then you don't have to go through that whole thing. It's just an idea.
Here's the thing. Everyone can at some point, if they want, just throw a party with their partner. Just to have a party.
Right?
I understand that, like, this, you know, we used to have a lot of, like, I guess people used to go to balls or whatever, and now we don't.
Maybe
culturally. That's really what we're missing.
Yeah. Well, and I think that, you know, like weddings used to be this thing where the bride and groom like would get all these gifts to help set up their new household or
now they've already been living together for years.
Yeah, exactly. And nowadays they don't need that because they have everything already.
So then they send you a note that says you can just bring money and you're like, okay. You don't seem like you need any, but sure.
I mean, honestly, only send me a note that you don't want a present. Like that's the only note I want. Please. Come on.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, but that was like that line on my favorite line on Modern Family.
Oh yeah.
Right? No presents, please. Or no presents, please.
Well,
anyway, back to this.
So Mamma Mia.
Yeah.
Mamma Mia. I in my research, I have discovered a few things that I think are kind of interesting. Is that so the producer, she was 25 years old when she was asked to pick up ABBA's Bjorn Ulvaeus from the airport, and they struck up a friendship when she gave him this ride, and she pitched the idea for the ABBA stage musical, and that's how Mamma Mia began.
Look at that. I'd rather see that as the Mamma Mia musical. Just takes place in a car. Two people driving around singing ABBA songs. Oh, that's what the road trip is. That Steve Coogan.
But it's all women behind the production, like in the major positions. So it's directed by Phillida Lloyd, co-produced by Judy Kramer, written by Katherine Johnson, and then they ended up hiring all the people. Like the production designer, costume designer, and the editor were all women as well, and I feel like you can feel.
I think that
a lot of joy in the film, like even if it's like a feminism that a lot of people might not like, or like, you know, it doesn't feel like sort of real feminism. It's kind of like performative feminism to a certain extent because it's not thinking about justice or anything. There's still like a joy and a camaraderie of like working with a large group of women that feels powerful. And I feel like you can feel kind of that energy in the movie.
I also feel like there was something about the way those three men were portrayed, which was so lovely and sweet, that they didn't have to fight it out, which is often in movies, you know, like, I'm the dad. No, I'm the dad. And they were all just, hey, we're 1/3 the dad. Like there wasn't any, they weren't fighting. They were very kind. They just seemed to genuinely.
So, like, hold on a second, though. Does Meryl Streep know who
she
the
said
dad
she
is?
doesn't, right?
Or does she not?
I don't think she does.
She doesn't. And I don't know if they do DNA testing in the Greek islands. Obviously would be a good side hustle for somebody.
I mean, in 1999, it probably wasn't as prevalent, but for sure now, all of them are on Ancestry.
Yeah.
.com, but
I can't remember. Do we ever find out? Do we?
Because
Nope.
I just wonder: is it a case where she's like withholding the information?
No,
or
she
is
says
it
that.
the case where she just honestly doesn't know?
I honestly think she doesn't know.
When she stood up at the wedding, she said she didn't know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm trying to remember in the second movie if she.
But so, like, if
it.
she honestly doesn't know, then there's like there's no way anybody else would know. Like, inviting the three men to the island is like not gonna enable them to figure out who the dad is.
Yeah, but Sophie's whole point was she thought as soon as she saw him, she would know who her father was. And again, this is a very dumb musical only.
Can't believe you're quoting this, but okay, yes.
Look,
you're a soap opera fan. This is why. This is what's happened.
But this is the rules of the musical. This is the rules of the world that they have created. So you can't bring exterior logic necessarily. Like, she has this ridiculous romantic notion that as soon as she lays eyes on this man, she's going to know who her father is, and she doesn't. And she, you know, it's a kind of like childish fantasy, but I can see how one builds up this idea of like biological destiny. It's again sort of like this idea that like fathers are truly important beyond the part of ejaculation. Like, yes, I loved my father a lot and he was very important to me, but like there's a lot of dads that are scumbucket dudes who just bail and they never are anything more than like an ejaculate, and that's like their whole entire presence. But we do like sort of.
Is this the most times we've had ejaculate said on this podcast in one episode?
Not by me. I usually say it at least 700 times an episode. I don't know what you're talking about. But I just like, but I just think like we sort of culturally build up this idea of like daddy's girl, and like we overemphasize the importance of fatherhood and we de-emphasize the importance of motherhood. Like women do so much work and so much of the labor of actually raising children. It makes perfect sense to me that this film would end with like these three dudes be like, yeah, it takes like three of us to do even like the part of one normal human, but like this woman has raised this child on her own forever.
Wasn't that like an 80s sitcom, My Two Dads?
Well, it was My Two Dads, and it was also Three Men and a Baby.
Three Men and a Baby too.
I recently watched that, and it holds
what?
Up. Yeah.
I've seen Three Men and I remember that, and I think I watched it like. Was it Paul Reiser or something in My Two Dads?
Paul Reiser and Greg Evigan.
Yes. Because this was before DNA testing, right?
Yeah.
So you started a trend of recommending trailers on our podcast, but you've also watched 2.5 Men recently.
Not 2.5 Men.
Three Men and a Baby.
And a Baby.
3 Men. Okay.
Come on now.
Is that a movie?
3 Men and a Baby.
That's the 80s one with like Ted Danson.
Steve Guttenberg and Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck. Look, I watched it with my grandma the other day. Carlos had never seen it, and
I'm just saying you could have recommended that.
That's not a musical, though.
Do you not think it's written down in my notes of like, well, if I got to pull something out of my butt this week, I did watch 3 Men and a Baby a few weeks ago.
What? That there is actually there's a French version of it first, right? It's a remake.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So. It would be interesting to do
is.
that. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. To do that where you watch the original, and because I did then go and watch the French one. I don't know why. I
never did. Was it good?
Yeah, it's a very different ending.
So the original Mamma Mia was a movie called Muriel's Wedding.
Yeah.
That
Yes. Muriel's Wedding. I like
Australian.
A lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
ABBA weddings.
Yeah.
It's based on an Australian movie, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, obviously, yes, to a certain extent, for sure. It's just like this weird soap opera extra version of, because remember when we watched Muriel's Wedding, we were all like, wow, that was darker than we thought. Remember? Like, we were just all like, wow.
I love it. It's one of my favorite movies.
I love it too. But like, Mamma Mia is like, I mean, it is cotton candy, obviously. And Muriel's Wedding is just like a real chewy dark caramel.
Holy moly. You can't, like, it's even unfair for us to even talk about them in the same podcast. I mean,
wow.
But I just feel like if you have an itch that requires like a wedding and ABBA music to scratch, watch Muriel's Wedding.
Well, it depends on what sort of mood you're in. I mean, you know, we did Thunder Force last week, which was just farcical and funny and warms your heart. And I'll give this movie that. I mean, is that a sentence? This movie that that it does, you know, it's just lovely and story free and pretty to, like, so beautiful.
Oh my god, lovely and story free. Just giving and taking in the same breath. My god. I do want to talk about sort of you know, I think it's one thing. I think it's very helpful for a lot of women to have a lot of different takes on this film and receive it and criticize it. And, you know, I think it's good for us to talk through like a lot of the sort of, there's a lot of obvious critiques of this film that you can have. And there's also a lot of like joy that you can take from it if you want to. And I think those are both really valid. But there's also a tremendous number of highly sexist reviews, in my opinion, of this film now. Now that I've looked them up. So I'd just like to, just a smattering of some negative reviews, if you don't mind my sharing.
No,
this.
I love that. Yes. I mean, I don't love it, but sorry.
The legal definition of torture has been much aired in recent years, wrote critic Anthony Lane in The New Yorker, and I take Mamma Mia to be a useful contribution to that debate.
Ooh.
Wow. Peter Bradshaw of The Guardian gave the film 1 star and expressed a, quote, need to vomit.
Oh.
Bob Chipman of Escape to the Movies, this is an interesting review. So base, so shallow, and so hinged on meaningless spectacle, it's amazing it wasn't made for men.
Okay, that's sort of funny, I have to say.
I know, that's very funny.
That's really funny.
That's very funny.
Yeah.
But where it gets really interesting to me is sort of the ways in which different women talk about it. So in 2008, there was this piece in The Guardian. Again, The Guardian actually has 3 specific different pieces about Mamma Mia in 2008. So, like, obsessed was, various members of the culture, various members of the press with this film and how well it was doing. And so this one piece is Why We Love Mamma Mia. And it's like 8 to 10 feminists, like really well-respected feminist writers, talking about how much they love the film and why they love the film, including, and it starts with Julie Bindel in this quote, "It made me feel happy for the first time ever."
Oh,
which is,
wow.
That's a hard line. But anyway, so then this counter opinion piece also in The Guardian was like basically a response to how The Guardian had run this piece about why we love Mamma Mia, was this woman being like, hells no, I don't. And not perhaps since Diana's death has an event brought together so many different types of women in effusive, sentimental, faintly oppressive sisterhood.
Wow. There's some fine writing here.
Yeah.
I just about fell out of my chair. This is why I'm so fascinated by the ways in which, people feel compelled to talk about it, because it's also in the last 10 years, it's been 13 years since it came out, but, people have really sort of talked about it in a much more, a very sort of facade, like just like, oh, this is a feminist film. Like they love it. Like why Mamma Mia is an underrated feminist gem. ABBA's music was sexist, but Mamma Mia helped fix that. There's the feminist utopia of Phillida Lloyd's Mamma Mia. Like there are so many articles like this, and each is very interesting in its own right, even if you don't agree with it. And the arguments that they set out are like kind of fascinating. So I'm so curious about like how the movie has sort of like, I mean, I guess like how like feminist writers are represented now much more broadly in pop culture, and how like our evolving feminism sort of changes to embrace Mamma Mia in different ways and not reject it so quickly.
That's a lot. That really is a lot. And I think there is a lovely spirit of, like we said, like a feminine energy to it. Like even the way I said, like mostly the men are depicted in this, which is so that they're kind. Like even, at the altar, she's like, "Oh, let's not get married. You weren't even really into it." "Oh, that sounds great." Like no shame there. Just woo, dodged the bullet. And all the men are willing to stand up and say that's my child without feeling like, is anyone uncomfortable with the fact that she must have slept with us within like 3 days of each other? Like everyone's okay with that.
This is like a slut shaming free utopia.
Yeah, no, it is.
And I love it.
And
so
which
much.
I'm used to with women, but I'm not used to with men.
Yeah.
So to give them those roles in this movie is definitely even our clergyman, the vicar or whatever in this was all, "Oh, all right, I'll marry you now." I mean, he didn't seem to be bothered by anything at all. So, and then, the sort of the repetition of her daughter having the two best friends, and then Meryl Streep having two great girlfriends as well. Also, I mean, the elephant in the room, Meryl Streep. Meryl Streep is in this movie. Arguably the greatest actor that has ever lived, is in this.
So here's the thing that I don't know that I've really talked about before.
You're Meryl Streep.
I can appreciate Meryl Streep. I've appreciated many of her performances. I don't think I like her much as an actor. I thought she was great in this, no problem at all. And I've seen her in many things that she's excellent in. But I think I don't I like
Is this the Cate Blanchett thing for me?
Yeah, like I like Cate Blanchett.
What don't you like?
I always feel like she's Meryl Streep. Like that whole thing where you can like disappear inside.
Have you heard her accents? She can do so many accents.
Yeah, they always feel like Meryl Streep though. You know what I mean? Like even Julie and Julia. Like, I think she did a great job as Julia Child, but like, even then I was just like, oh, it's Meryl Streep just playing Julia Child. Like and I mean, maybe that's not her fault because she's so famous, but like.
Have you seen The Devil Wears Prada? Have you?
Yes.
Have you seen The Devil Wears Prada?
Yeah.
Miranda Priestley? Come on.
I think she disappears well inside that role.
Yeah.
No, I know. This feels like a kind of a weird confession. But I just normally, she's never a draw for me. Whereas a lot of people are like, it's a Meryl Streep film, I have to see it. I'm just like,
I'm not like that. I mean, I'm much more like, to be fair, I'm saying Meryl Streep because Meryl Streep is like, is practically a descriptor, right? It's,
yeah, sure.
But Christine Baranski is in this movie.
Christine Baranski.
And now I know she's a musical gal and all that, but you just spend so much time with her as Diane Lockhart, and it's just a big shift to have to make.
So AG, as the person who hated this the most, I think, just out of the three of us, was there a single like musical number that you enjoyed, or was there like anything that you enjoyed at any point?
I am stretching my mind and I can't.
That's fair. What? Like, and I hope that you leave that whole pause in because I want people to know how long you thought about it.
There were those cutaway shots of just the boat floating on the ocean.
Yeah. Yeah, that was okay. I don't hate it. I just don't care for any part of it.
Yeah, okay. That's it. Like, I think that's a reasonable correction to the words I was putting in your mouth. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It just felt, well, like I said, like I recognize that the music component of this musical is, I think at least like ABBA works really well because like I said, it's like everybody knows this music. Everybody already knows the songs. It's easy to sort of like sit through a musical number because like I recognize it. And a lot of musicals, like I'm not a huge musical fan. And the thing I don't like about it is having to sit through song after song after song that I've never heard and I don't really like, and hearing them sort of try to, I don't know, like what the purpose is of all these songs. And so, yeah, I found at least like the songs slid by in a quick manner.
Oh, that's a glowing review right there.
Oh my God.
There you go. I found something.
I wish that I had more time to turn your quotes into quote cards that we shared as personal reviews. The songs slid by in a quick manner.
I effortlessly went along with the lyrics and had no trouble understanding them.
I had a vague sense that it would be over soon.
Eventually, they would run out of ABBA songs.
Oh my God. I might cry. Oh, it's so funny. Okay. Well, God, I can't wait for the next 7 weeks after this.
Excited.
So. I mean, for me, it pops, but
I'm going to give it a pop because I do think it's a it's such a lovely thing that exists. It doesn't make any sense at all that it does exist. So, if I think in the Roger Ebert review you had here is I didn't care for it, but I know there are lots of people that will love it. So it's a very, I would say you're not going to be like in the middle, even though I sound like I kind of am. I'm more giving the pop to people I know who will love it. That's what I'm doing.
Fair. AG.
No, not at all. Not giving this a pop. I was actually going to quote that same Ebert review that says, "And I feel like a grouch at the party." Yeah, that's me.
There you go.
That's going to be me for all of musical, like the next 7 weeks of musical.
Look, you have to at least watch them with an open heart, because one of them might slip through and grab you. We love to leave our episodes on something we actually recommend. And Lisa, do you want to go first?
Yes, I'm going to add a little preamble to this. So I don't know if I mentioned on the podcast that my mother gave me this kind of unusual Christmas present this year. And I will get to that in a minute. So I will just say that there was a podcast I recommended before, which I have a lot of fun listening to, Smartless. Mm-hmm. With Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, and Sean Hayes. This week's episode is Amy Sedaris. And
Yes.
Who does not love Amy Sedaris? So at the beginning of the podcast, they're discussing some sports they like. And then they get to Amy, they introduce her, and she explains that she doesn't like sports, but she likes reading sports books, which is such an Amy Sedaris thing. So She had read about Formula One. She read a golf book. And I just thought, oh, Amy Sedaris, you're so crazy and eccentric. Then I thought, no, wait a minute. I'm reading the book my mom gave me, which is called The Boys in the Boat, which is a novel, I guess it's almost like fictionalized, of the University of Washington 8-oared rowing crew that won the 1936 Olympics in Berlin. So anyway, this is just, I don't know, I'm reading it, it's fine, but I think more to the point, I didn't think I'd ever really understand Amy Sedaris, and now I do.
Oh, that's nice. What a beautiful moment. That's good. Honestly, you guys have so much in common now. Like, you should.
I should get a rabbit.
And if she starts a book club, you should join it.
I would like to, and I will recommend this book right away.
Yeah. That sounds great. AG, what about you? What are you recommending?
I'm recommending the Doxa Film Festival.
Woohoo!
It's coming up. I'm on the board, so I am fully appraised of all the programming, and it looks fantastic this year. It runs from May 6th to 16th. And for those of you who don't know, it's a documentary film festival. It's the 20th anniversary. Everything's online, and it's Canada-wide, so you can buy a ticket no matter where you are and watch. There's going to be a drive-in at the Peony.
I'm excited about the drive-in.
Yeah, and you're hosting a trivia night during the festival.
Well, Lisa and I are co-hosting a trivia
What?
night.
Oh, yeah,
No,
that's right.
I just like to frighten you all the time with that.
Both of you are hosting trivia night.
We're co-hosting a trivia night May 14th if y'all want to come. I'm very excited about Doxa. But I'm going to go in a whole other direction. And you will remember me being mercilessly mocked numerous times over the last little while about recommending trailers twice. Well, those trailers paid off because, one, we did Thunder Force last week. And two, I finally watched the first episode of Wipeout, the new show, the reboot of the classic. This time it's with Nicole Byer and John Cena. And look, the first episode, it's got some rough patches. They're working out their chemistry. They're trying to
But basically we're talking about making jokes about people falling off of obstacle courses.
It's incredible. And the obstacle
courses. No, I'm
in.
no. I love it.
Though, is it a show where they get people to do an obstacle course and then they're making fun of them live as they do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So you can sort of tell in the setup that when they run the first obstacle course, John and Nicole aren't watching it live. They're doing color commentary after. But when they're in the final obstacle course, the one that involves a lot of water and a cannon, shooting a human basically, that's where they're doing it live. And it's so the dynamic between John Cena and Nicole Byer is great. And I just highly recommend it.
Oh, good.
So,
yeah.
I don't know how people have not severely injured themselves on that course, but
I heard, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I think, anyway.
They must have to sign some crazy release forms before they go on the show.
Yeah.
Pretty wild release forms because, I was just I know it's a lot of sound effects, but anyway, I love it and I feel great.
No, there's very few things as funny as people hurting themselves. I mean, let's just be honest. We could do hours and hours and hours of comedy podcast episodes and it still wouldn't be as funny as if you were out on the street and somebody accidentally tripped with a tray of coffee and you saw it in just the right way. And obviously they didn't really hurt themselves. You would be laughing for months.
I have been that person and I have laughed at myself every single time. Once you can stop crying, if you cry from whatever you've done to yourself. I have falls that are so legendary. They have names amongst my friends and I. And I used to be very, very klutzy when I was I don't know, between 18 and 25. I've gotten better now, but
I insist on wearing my these Swedish sandals in the summer called has-beens that look like clogs. You know them?
Mm-hmm,
I love them.
I do love them. And a couple of summers ago now, I was walking and the terrain changed. There was
clogs are bad for that.
Yeah. And I wiped out really well. And I think it was the fact that it was an elderly couple helping me up that really... And it was the way he was going, are you all right? You took and I'm good. I'm good. I'm going to get up now. I just want to keep moving so badly right now.
Did I ever tell you about the time that I had whooping cough in France, in Paris, and I was on vacation, and it was my first trip with Carlos ever. We went to Spain, like big trip. We went to Spain for Christmas to see his family. So we were in Spain for a week, then we went to Paris for a week, and then we were going back to Spain for a couple days. And during the first portion of the trip, I've
never heard of an adult getting whooping cough. That's so interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
your immunity runs out. Your vaccine runs out at 27, and guess exactly when I caught it.
Oh.
So apparently a lot of 27 to 30-year-olds get whooping cough, and it's just because your vaccine runs out.
Huh.
So anyways, I caught this, but I didn't know what I had until I got back to Canada, unfortunately. So I just had whooping cough all over Europe and on the plane. Anyway, this is besides the point. So we went to Disneyland Paris. It was very cold. We had it, it wasn't very full because it was so cold. There was like frost on the ground, and I would get these coughing fits that were so bad that I had to stop. And
should you have been out?
No, 100% no. I thought I just had, but we were in Paris. We were on vacation. What was I going to do? Anyway.
Quarantine?
So it was terrible. I should have been in quarantine. Anyways. So we were leaving Disneyland Paris. We're going to try and like get the whatever metro it was back to Paris proper. And I was walking, got a coughing fit, didn't slow down, skid on a silver grate in my running shoe, fell down onto my knees, and was coughing so hard that I peed myself. In the middle of like the sidewalk outside of Disneyland Paris. And and all these people tried to come and help me, and I was just like, please don't. And Carlos really is the only one of us that speaks French out of the two of us, and he was like trying to explain, no, she's fine. Anyway, so by the time I was able to get up, I could see that like I had actually scraped a hole in my pants, and my knee was all bloody, and I was soaked in urine. And so
oh my God.
I had to try and hobble to a restroom and then get into a restroom that Carlos could also try and come in with me so he could help me take everything off and like help me just. And so then we had to I had to like he's attending to my knee while I'm trying to like wash my pants in a sink in a bathroom.
How are you going to put them on? Were you going to like dry them with that dryer?
I was just going to wring them out and then have to put them on wet. And yeah, I did. So I had to like take like, it was like a 45-hour long like transit trip back into Paris.
4 to 5 hours?
No, 45 minutes to an hour.
Oh.
Sorry. Like an hour long like transit trip back into
Were
Paris
you crying?
to get to our hotel. Oh, 100%.
Yeah, okay. I was just gonna say.
But I was also
feel like
laughing. I
listening.
was also laughing because I was full of urine bleeding in Paris, and I was like, I already felt like not quite very chic because I was coughing so horribly everywhere.
Well, that certainly did it.
I was already pretty like not great. Anyway, so that's So public falling is like I'm really good at it.
Wow. Okay.
And I make a spectacle. And and then sometimes I pee myself. So anyway, happy Mother's Day to everyone who's listening.
Yeah. Wow.
Just think of
that is not a segue there, but
how much pride you'd feel in me being your daughter. Oh man,
I don't even know where to go after that, but
there's nowhere to go. That's why I said Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, Happy Mother's Day.
It all. Yeah.
Thank you to Andrea Gin for being our producer, and we'll have to edit all that down, and also for watching 8 musicals. 8 musicals. 8 musicals. One down. 7 to go.
7-ish to go. I can't remember if it's 7 or 8 or 9. But yeah, more to go. But yeah, thanks everyone for listening, and thanks you two for bearing with me through my yet another personal story.
Bye, everyone.
I thought you were going to say Mamma Mia.
No, I'm not going to apologize for Mamma Mia. I love Mamma Mia, and everyone else, whatever. I'm a dancing queen right out of here. I don't care.
Okay, bye everybody.
Bye.
Bye.